And good afternoon, everyone here. My name is Stuart Conquest, Grandmaster, here with Anna Muzychuk, Grandmaster, and we're here as hosts of this afternoon's round 10 of the FIDE Chess.com Grand Swiss and Women's Grand Swiss from Riga, Latvia. And Anna, lots of excitement to look forward to today and drama, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward to the start of this round. Nothing is clear yet. We have 3 leaders in the open section, 1 leader in the women's section, and let's take a look at the format.
Okay, first the women's formats. They have a shorter time control, 90 minutes for the first 40 moves, then 30 minutes for the rest of the game, with a 30-second increment from move 1. And Anna, those are the results from yesterday, the women's section.
Yeah, very important win by late in Gia over Alexandra Kosteniuk brought her to amazing 8 points out of 9.
Absolutely incredible.
Wonderful performance by late in Gia, and she is ahead of actually 2 points. A few people on 6 points out of 8.
That's right. There we see Leiting G, 8 out of 9. Absolutely phenomenal result. A performance of over 2,800 at the moment. And ahead of 5 players on 6 points. Elizabeth Petz, your sister Maria Zuchina from China, Harika from India, and Leila Jabakishvili from Georgia. And those, Anna, are today's pairings.
Yeah, on the top board we see Leiting Gia facing Maria. Harika Doronvali will play against Elizabeth Petz, Leila Jabakishvili against Zhu Jinar. And also many other exciting pairings. For example, Natalia Pogonin against Alexandra Kosteniuk, an interesting Russian clash.
Absolutely, yes. Still lots and lots to play for. Now, this is the time control in the open section. It's a longer time control, 100 minutes for the first 40, then 50 minutes for the next 20 moves, and only then 50 minutes for the rest of the game with a 30-second increment from move 1. And Anna, those are yesterday's results.
Yeah, we have been really very excited about the game between Fabiano Caruana, his win over Alireza Firouzja, what actually made the tournament situation very interesting right now. So, very important win for Fabiano Caruana, also for David Howell, of course. These 3 players, Fabiano, David, and Alireza, all on 6.5 out of 8. Here
Exactly. That's right. Sorry, Anna.
Yeah, here we see
and
the
those are the
standings.
standings. Yes. So 3 on 6.5, and then a chasing pack on 6. All of those players on 6 points also still have options to fight for one of these 2 golden tickets for the candidates. 2 places at stake in this open event. And Anna, those are today's pairings.
Alireza Firouzja against David Howell and Maxime Vachier-Lagrave against Fabiano Caruana. I believe these 2 top boards will be the most interesting games of today's round. But of course also Nikita Vitigo against Grigory Noparin, another interesting Russian clash. And many other interesting games to follow.
Absolutely, yes. So big prizes here as well, of course, not just those candidates' places, but also big cash prizes to be won. And round 10 of 11. So, in fact, there we see the prizes in the open section, $425,000 in total, starting from 70,000 for first, right the way down to 2,000 for 31st to 40th places. So, lots, as I say, to play for, and we'll maybe see the women's prizes. No, we didn't. All right. Okay, but Anna. So, what about voting? Voting for the results.
Once again, a reminder about the voting option. And before Black made its 10th move, you have an opportunity to vote on the result of any game. So here on the video, it's shown how you can do that. Just navigate to chess.com/events, select the tournament, and select the game, and vote on the result. Let's hope your predictions will be correct.
Yes, good luck with that, everyone. And as we've seen, some very big, there we see actually, Anna, the women's prizes. So total prize fund of $125,000, £20,000 first, and down to 20th place, 16th to 20th, still picking up $2,000. So day 10 of 11, and lots of excitement ahead, and drama, and too close to call, really, certainly in the open section, although in the women's section, Leiting G, as we've seen, is 2 clear points ahead. Absolutely incredible. So we'll see you all, I think, just in a couple of minutes while we take a very short break.
The new Chess.com events page has arrived. Find all the games from top tournaments around the world, as well as championships played right here on Chess.com. Explore each game and even vote on who you think will win their matchups. Review standings, schedules, key information, and find links to all the top news surrounding each event. Head to chess.com/events today and experience your favorite tournaments like never before.
Want to hold a massive chess tournament with dozens of clubs or hundreds of players? Or maybe a small chess tournament with local but competitive clubs? With Club Arenas, you can. Club Arenas allow for tournaments of any size with any number of clubs and players. Customize the arena with any time control, with standard chess or mini chess variants, and with any starting position you want. Club Arenas are the most flexible tournament format on chess.com. Try one out today.
And welcome back, everyone. Here we see the view from the playing hall. Alireza Firouzja already sitting and waiting for his opponent, David Howell. Amazing tournament for David so far. After winning the last 2 games, he's on +4. I think he didn't believe, he can't believe what's
That's
going on.
right. Yeah, he won his last 4 games then. I mean, absolutely tremendous. And now he finds himself on board 1. There we see Lei Tingji, who is playing today. Your sister, Maria. And, well, what can we say about Lei Tingji? She's just had an astounding event so far, as I said earlier, with a performance of over 2,800.
Yeah, just smashing all her opponents. Wonderful play, wonderful games, and of course, brilliant result.
So she just needs half a point to be absolutely certain of winning the event and gaining that place in the next candidates. So and now Maxime has a big job to do today because he's half a point behind Fabiano. He has 6. Fabiano has 6.5. So really, with the white pieces, Maxime is going to be looking, isn't he, to try and do his very best to win this game.
They have faced each other many times. Really many games have been played between Maxime and Fabiano. So it's an interesting clash. And we see David
There's
arrived
David.
to the playing hall with
Top
lots of
boards.
things in his hands. Banana,
Sure.
water.
Prepared for a long game, I think.
Yeah, he's prepared. He's already prepared. Just showing, I am ready to play 8 hours. Really used to that.
And looks like they're starting straight away. The arbiters must have made the announcement, and the games are now beginning. And there we see Alireza has already played pawn to king 4, e2, e4.
Well, not a surprise, I would say. And it's interesting what David will play. Will he go for the Berlin again? I mean, first of all, will he play e5?
Right. Yeah,
know-
he may not, of course. He may try to surprise. He's just adjusting his pieces there, David.
They didn't play so often against each other. I think they had only 2 blitz games, but also not in the last years. Well, one played in 2000, like this year in
Right.
2021, another one in 2018. 16. But still, blitz and classical chess, it's kind of a different chess.
Of course, yeah. And well, David has played e5 there, Anna. e4, e5. I think it's the move he most often plays against 1e4.
Yeah, knight f3, knight c6. I remember a long time ago I played against David, and he played knight f6, Alechin.
Alekhine, right. We haven't seen a single Alekhine defense, have we, among the top boards here on the broadcast?
Another Italian.
3 bishops
Or-
c4.
So bishop c5 or knight f6.
Okay.
2 rounds ago, Alireza won a nice game in the Italian against Sashkiran. So he played Italian again.
Bishop c5, it looks like. Allowing the Evans gambit, Anna, with b2 to b4. I don't think.
I loved it. I loved it when I was young. I played it so often.
Did you used
but
to play it for white, the Evans gambit?
Yeah, like when I was 10 years old.
Really?
It was
Wow,
one
brilliant.
of my favorite openings, but then I stopped.
You stopped. Why did you stop playing it?
Well, somehow Black found
Black found.
many good lines, but it was very popular by even top players. Kasparov played
Kasparov
it.
had a time. That's right. He brought it back into fashion. Absolutely. And then Nigel Short has played it, and many other strong players. But Alireza has not played b2 before. He's castled. And David Hull to make his move, and there's Fabiano.
Fabiano
just,
already looking at what's
having a quick
what's
look.
going
That's right. Looks like knight
Knight
f6 from
f6.
David.
Yeah, we may expect a d3 from Alireza. Yeah, d3
He's
played.
played d3. Okay. And David.
Now, okay, jacket off
Mm,
first.
That's right. I don't think we see Alireza take. He doesn't take. He keeps his jacket on, doesn't he, during the game? Alireza.
Yesterday, he
Did he take it off?
Yeah, he did. He
Oh,
took it
okay.
off. So maybe when he's facing some problems,
Then he.
or the one then he takes the jacket off.
Shall we have a quick look at board 2, Anna? Maxime with white against Fabiano, and let's see which opening they have. Again, it's an e4, e5. a Spanish or Ruy Lopez opening.
Yeah, so rook e1, b5, bishop b3, castle. And
A4.
a4, one of the anti-martial lines. Bishop b7, yeah, one of the popular moves. But I think b4 is the most popular move in this position. Bishop b7, d3, d6.
Right. And that's where they're up to.
Yeah, many games have been played here.
Sure. Knight b d2, for example, is one move.
And knight b d2, knight c3.
And Fabiano just getting up there from the board. Yes, as we say, Maxime is a half a point behind Fabiano, with 6 points in a big group of players on 6, actually. So a draw today doesn't really help Maxime that much. I mean, it keeps him in contention, I suppose, Anna, but would certainly be better for Fabiano than for Maxime.
Yeah, then very likely Fabiano will play his last game with white pieces.
Right.
What is important. But for Maxime, if he doesn't win this one, then to play for a win tomorrow with black will be a hard task.
That's right. He has won some very nice games here in this event with white. But then Alexei Sherov held him, didn't he, with black a couple of days ago.
And Maxime starts thinking, so maybe he didn't really expect e5 or this particular line in this game.
Perhaps. Perhaps. All right. Shall we have a very quick look, Anna, at boards 3, 4, 5? See which
the
openings have
openings,
been
yeah.
played.
Board number 3, Nikita Vitigov against Grigory Oparin. Here we have Nimzo Indian with force moves a3.
With the same-ish variation, 4a3.
Not seen that often.
Not seen that often. That's right.
Of course, it was very popular in the old times, but nowadays a3 isn't seen that often. Bishop takes, b takes c3.
Sort of forcing black to take on c3, more or less.
But very often black takes without even white playing a3, so this is like
definitely a surprise, I think, for Grigory, don't you? I think Nikita has surprised his opponents here with this line. Old-fashioned line against the Nimzo Indian.
Okay, here are many options like c5, castle, d6, b6.
Neither of these players have lost a game here so far, Anna. One of the part of the group of players on 6 points, and there are also other players in that group who haven't lost a game yet either.
So maybe let's check quickly the next board. Alexei Shirov against Yu Yangi. Second move, knight c3, and this unusual opening with the d6,
Look
d4.
what Alexei's played. d4 there on move 3. Goodness me. How often do you see that?
From time to time it's played. It's actually played by top grandmasters. For example, Magnus Carlsen played it, Dominguez, quite often. So usually the idea is that after knight c6, white goes queen to d2, and then the setup with b3, bishop b2, along castle, and then f4, e5, or f3, g4. Very sharp line. So we may expect an interesting game here.
Yeah, well, that's nice to see that Alexei now with white. Well, he has a chance, doesn't he? Still, he's had a fantastic event.
Yeah, if he wins this one. Yesterday he made a quick draw.
A little bit surprising, wasn't it? With white
yeah, a little
against
bit
Nikita.
surprised. But today he got another white game, and
A couple of moves.
and this one will not end.
No, he's played knight
quick.
c6, Anna, and queen d2, as you said. He's on the board.
It's also interesting that Yu Yangi went for Sicilian, because I think e5 he plays more often than c5.
Right. Also happy for sharp game, Yangi, and with the white pieces tomorrow to look forward to. So tomorrow is, of course, the last round. And then we see Sam Sevian with the white pieces facing us.
Let's see how he's doing. So it's board number 6, Samuel 7 against Gabriel Sargsyan. And
An exchange
Yeah,
variation of the
just
Queen's Gambit.
yeah, just
That's all they have at the moment, is it?
theoretical, well-known position.
Sam just played a move now. Looks like bishop d3. Yes, bishop d3 played.
So here we might expect knight e4 from black.
Knight e4
On the
here, do you
early
think?
stage, yeah.
Hmm. All right, so fairly typical start to the game in this opening. Queen's Gambit
Black has
exchange
made him.
variation.
Yeah,
Black has
that's
played h6 a little bit early, hasn't he?
Yeah, there is always like a question, is it good to play h6 earlier? Is it better to wait with this move? Well, castle first, yeah.
All right,
Now
great.
queen c2 or knight e2. Okay, we'll come back to this game. What about board number 5? Alexander Pratke against Anton Guihara.
This looks very sharp.
Oh yeah, I already like it. So bishop g5, d takes c4, e3.
E3 instead of e4, all right.
c5, bishop takes f6, queen f6, d5. Do you know this line?
No, I don't. I don't know this line.
Oh, very good.
Do you know this?
We are both in, let's say, unexplored territory.
Unexplored territory. Well, that's good as well.
a6. So if bishop c4,
Then b5.
I think b5 was the idea. So knight f3 and knight d7.
Interesting, Anna, that Black didn't play b5 on his last move.
Or maybe it's too dangerous to allow a4.
Yes, I don't know. Well, clearly Black didn't want to go for this.
Let's see how many games have been played here. 1.
One game.
So not surprised we are not so much familiar with this position.
Black went for knight d7, a developing move. And this is David Anton Guijaro as Black from Spain, having a really good tournament. And he's facing Alexander Pratke from Russia. Both these players on 6 points. And whites to play there.
Maybe you can also check this game. It's board number 7, Andrei Sipenko against Krishan Sashikiryan.
Right, okay.
Krishan is on 6 out of 9.
Another
so
player with 6 points, yes.
So he still has chances to...
That's right. And he's playing... So Andrei Yesipenko has 5.5.
And this is very unusual. Look at this, knight d7, bishop e2.
I don't think I've ever seen that. Immediately there, bishop e2.
No, immediately I have never seen. I have seen that something like castle, and then when black plays a6, then
And
bishop
then bishop
e2.
e2. But immediately?
But bishop e2 here, it's like super hyper modern.
Super hyper modern. Losing a whole tempo and saying that Black's knight is worse on d7 than b8, which is hard to believe. But and without being asked to move after Black, as you say, and if Black had played a6, but just directly going back to e2. And how did Black play?
Knight f6, knight c3. So white is preparing d4, but I am under a big impression after this, after seeing this bishop b5, bishop e2 maneuver.
Well, lots of interesting openings and surprises on the top boards, and unusual, at least to us, variations, which is good to see.
Yeah, of course.
Good to see. Tends to lead to sharp games, unbalanced games, and
Okay, let's go back to the top board. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just have a quick look. Let's keep in touch with Ali Reza against David.
Well, the line was a5 was chosen, knight bd2, bishop e6. Now the main move is bishop b5. I think it will be played by Alireza.
All right. David so far has been moving fairly swiftly. I think it's important that he doesn't fall behind too much on the clock, Anna, today, as he sometimes does. I mean, I know he's been winning lots of games, but he really has to be careful about managing his time. But so far, so good.
And how about Fabiano? Oh. Bishop d2, b4, c3, and rook b8. Sacrificing a pawn, but just like for one move. C takes b4 was played. Bishop
Back to
c8.
c8, not bishop a8, bishop c8.
Maybe he wants to keep control over the a6 pawn, because if bishop a8,
maybe bishop c4.
maybe bishop c4.
There we see Maxime. Keeping his mask on.
He's French, he's used. So bishop c8, b5, takes, rook b5, h3, and rook b8
right.
has been played. And all this was done so quickly.
Right.
But this is already a new position.
So another new position, because Maxime played bishop d2 quite early, didn't he? And then the game has taken an unusual path.
Bishop d2 is seen from time to time in these structures. Before playing knight c3, it's like a waiting move. But all this idea with sacrificing the pawn, like before c3 and rook b8, is new for me.
All right.
We got an update that h3 is a novelty. In the game between Maxime, actually, and Evgeny Tomashevsky in 2015, he played rook a8 in this position. And the game continued with rook b8, takes, and something like that.
Right. So h3 is a new move, we think.
Yeah, h3 seems to be a novelty. And rook b8 anyway.
Sure.
Okay, it's logical, because the rook on b5, you always have to calculate some bishop a4 moves. Knight c3 comes with the tempo. So
that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
So white does have this isolated pawn, Anna, on b2.
I like black's position. It's very compact.
Compact, yes. Now he might play bishop e6, offer an exchange.
I thought about bishop e6 in this position. I don't know if it's possible. Maybe it's a little bit risky. Let's say.
And now we see a move from Maxime. Knight c3, I think. Right.
So knight c3, if bishop e6. The typical way to meet bishop e6 is to play knight d5, but I'm not sure how good it is in this position.
What happens if black takes? Bishop takes?
Bishop takes, then yeah, question. Maybe take with the pawn.
Knight b4.
Now let's try to trap this knight.
Trap the knight. Oh, rook a5 he wants to play.
But then knight d3, knight c5.
No, I think you'd have to take, wouldn't you, on b4?
Maybe d4.
Perhaps.
But d4, e4, a bit unclear.
Okay, now there we are, Fabiano
So Fabiano was
taking off his jacket
actually
there.
following one of Maxime's games.
Right. and going now, having a proper think now what to do after this move of Maxim's. Very natural move, knight b1 to c3.
It's also not that bad to play something like bishop d7, I think.
Yeah, of course. You could play that, yeah. Should we check on the other top games? See how the openings are going?
Maybe we can check some new games like board number 8. Sanan Sugiro against Pantala Harikrishna, another Roy Lopez, another Spanish. And yeah, with d3 instead of rook e1. So a4, bishop d7, this we have seen yesterday in the game between Shiro and Vitigo. c3, castle, bishop c2, rook e8. I'm not sure bishop c2 in this position is like the main move, but bishop c2 preparing d4. Rook e8, and this is the current position. Yeah, quite a normal, typical position.
Pretty standard thing so far, yes.
Standard Roy Lopez. And board number 9, Daniel Dubov against Yuri Krivoruchko. It's Catalan with b5.
Mm.
a4,
we saw
b4.
this one game before, didn't we?
We have seen this a4 before. Many rounds ago.
That's
I
right.
think, yeah. And knight b2 d2, bishop b7, knight c4, c5 takes bishop e4. Yeah, this is still theoretical.
Okay.
Queen d2 and bishop c5.
All right. How is the game with Yesipenko, Anna, where he played his bishop back to e2?
Yesipenko, let's see what he did. So b6 was played. d4 takes and queen d4.
Takes. Bishop b7 from black.
So no knight c6.
So it's a sort of Sicilian structure. Bishop g5 from white.
And Andrei plays very, very fast. So maybe he's still in his preparation. This b6 and bishop b7 looks a bit risky. Now it's a bit difficult to play e6. You always have to be
Knight
aware
b5.
of knight b5, yeah. And to lose one more tempo on a6, I'm not so sure. White is ahead in development, even after bishop b5, bishop
yes,
e2.
white's ahead of development, despite losing a whole move with his bishop. He could castle queenside next move, castle long. And a very sharp game in prospect here. But white does indeed have a lead in development.
Now I actually like white's position.
Yeah, so do I.
But
Actually, have to say, I like white's game.
But in general, I mean, like after knight c3, there were so many options for black. Like a6, maybe even e5 is interesting.
e5, of course, is possible,
to
yes.
stop d4, and then, well, after e5, white makes another move with the bishop, perhaps. Also, g6 is normal.
Maybe g6.
G6, e6.
Well, we'll see.
Maybe maybe Sashikaran wanted to surprise his opponent with b6, but actually Andrei reacted.
It could be quite dangerous for him, couldn't it? For black here.
Yeah, now it's a bit shaky. Maybe g6 now.
g6 there. Okay. Maybe.
But then takes, castle.
And then e5 is threatened.
Yeah, all these ideas was a5, queen a4, bishop b5. Even e5 immediately. And then bishop b5.
That's
so
right.
yeah, maybe g6
could be
wasn't the
that's
greatest
right.
idea.
Well, that's a good illustration of how careful black has to be. Falling behind in developments in the Sicilian defense is not a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, e6, is it safe or not if you play knight b5? Knight c5, yeah?
Sure, knight b5, yeah. And knight c5 now, okay. Well,
we can take and...
could take on f6 and black has to take with his pawn. It does look quite attractive for white,
Yeah, also e5 is interesting here. So somehow I'm not so sure about e6.
All right, should we keep an eye on the very top games, Anna? Alireza, of course.
Bishop b5 has been played, and
Which
bishop
you said would
a7.
probably happen, didn't you? Bishop b5, yeah. And he's just played a move. Is it knight f1?
Looks like knight f1, yeah. Yeah, knight f1, preparing d4.
And black, I suppose, could play knight e7 to g6 as well.
Yeah, usually after bishop a7, this is a typical plan with knight e7, knight g6. Another popular move in this position is queen to b8.
Oh, really? Queen b8 here?
Yeah, it was seen in many games.
Instead of bishop a7?
Yeah, queen b8 and then queen a7.
That reminds me of the Rubinstein maneuver that Peter Dogger showed us. Do you remember?
Yeah, now it's seen just
one of the
really
first
very
rounds.
often. And it's not surprising anymore.
So just to tell us again, queen b8, the idea is to play queen a7.
Yeah, so some games continued with something like knight f1, queen a7, then white takes. I even played a game with black.
Well, isn't there bishop takes f2 check?
Here is bishop f2 check.
So what would white do instead?
And there are just many moves, like bishop e3. Also, white could take here and then play knight f1.
Right.
So let's say queen a7, d4, takes, then bishop b4 and bishop b6 is possible.
All right. Queen b8 there would have been one of the moves, but David didn't do that. He played bishop a7, and
Yeah,
Ali
he played
Reza
bishop
played
a-
knight f1.
Yeah, knight f1.
Do you think both players will be more or less satisfied with the opening part of this game?
Difficult to say right now. I don't know who is more satisfied.
It'll be interesting to see how also Ali Reza plays, or having lost obviously yesterday, a disappointment to him clearly, and let's see if he bounces back and plays to his top strength today. He's still performing at over 28. I think 28.50, Anna.
Really?
Even after losing yesterday's game, his performance is still just above 28.50, which shows you how well he's been playing. That's David.
Who has a better tiebreak right now? Alireza or Fabiano?
Well, I don't have that information. I'm not sure, but on performance, I think.
Yeah, but it makes really no sense to calculate it now because many things may be changed.
We see there,
yeah.
Anna, the tie breaks.
So the first one, Buchholz, got one, then normal Buchholz, then Sonneborg Berger. And I think, usually it all finishes here. That one player or another has already advantage.
David, we think, has played a move. He played knight e7.
Yeah, he's playing that.
Right, as I was saying, knight e7. Copying white, really, with if white plays knight g3, black can play knight g6. And what about d4 here, Anna?
Yeah, d4. d4 now or knight g3 first. So d4, takes, d5, e5, knight e4. I think Hikaru Nakamura played many games here with black pieces.
Okay. Fine.
What about Maxim?
Oh, he played bishop d7, Fabiano, as I think you said, Anna. instead of bishop e6, he's just played... Oh, has he or not?
I don't know.
No, that was us analyzing. Sorry, he hasn't moved in.
I don't have any moves on the screen,
hasn't
but
moved
maybe
yet.
he's
Right,
played
okay.
something.
So much at stake for these players today on the top tables. And I suppose, I mean, there could be draws at the top, in which case the players are half a point behind on 6 points.
But
Would
then
then
some
be-
players on 6 point may catch them.
Yes, exactly. That's right. Yeah. So if, let's say board 1 is a draw and board 2, or if Maxime wins, there will be other players joining that 7 points group. There we are.
Yeah, once again, here we see the standings, 3 players with 6.5 out of 9, followed by 10 players who are right now on 6 out of 9. So Alireza has a better tiebreak, as like from what we saw, according to the standings right now. But this may be changed
Of
even
course,
after
yeah.
this round.
Okay, so Fabiano hasn't moved yet. At some point we'll cross over to the women's games as well and see how they're doing. But let's just keep an eye maybe on the top open games. Any other game we haven't looked at yet, Anna, that for a while among the top players?
Oh, maybe board number 10, Vincent Kamer against Kirill Alexeyenko. So let me find that game. Here we are. So another goes in. Queen a4, knight c6, e3. Castle. We have seen a couple of games where black took on c3, but castle in this game, queen c2. Oh yeah, it's like also first queen a4 to force black
To put the knight,
put the
down,
knight on c6 and
Right.
then queen c2.
There we see
So
Vincent there.
Yeah, no c5 anymore. Rook e8, preparing e5. Bishop d2, h6, and rook to d1.
I think I read on social media, Anna, that Vincent is now on, by his live rating, Germany's #1 player, top-rated German player. I think that might be true. And
Yeah,
he's having a-
he plays well here, and he also
very
had
well here.
really successful tournaments before.
and also a very young player as well still.
Here we see Vincent with the blue shirt on our screens. Yeah, very young player, and the one who is really progressing.
Is he
and
coached
who
by
works
Peter
hard.
Lecco? Is that right, Anna?
Yeah, I don't know if they kind of work every day, but they have had many training camps together, and Peter has helped him during many of the events. And he has influence on his style, I think.
Right.
Yeah. Vincent is an excellent positional player, I would say. I remember one of his games, one of his blitz games against Magnus Carlsen, where he completely outplayed Magnus with black pieces.
Really?
So it was quite impressive.
Hmm.
And then the game ended in a draw. Well, it was not like an official tournament, but still.
So bishop f8 there from Kirill Alexeyenko, who of course played in the last candidates tournament. And all right. So another game that we can certainly keep track of during the afternoon.
And during the evening.
And during the evening, maybe, that's right. We're normally here for what, 6.5 hours, Anna? Something like that? Aren't we?
I think, yeah, nearly 7. Well, but we also come earlier, so I don't know. Difficult to count. But it's great. It's really a nice experience, and I really like watching, commentating, and following all these top games.
Well, we're going to have a very quick break, I think, now, Anna, and then we'll be right back with all the top action. Maybe we'll have a quick look also at the women's games after the break and see what's happening in that event. So we'll see you all in just a couple of minutes.
One of the first things to note about this position is that the white king on h1
Welcome, welcome everyone.
This is the Speed Chess Championship.
Finals going down here with Carlsen and Nakamura. The bullet portion comes to an end. Hikaru Nakamura is mathematically eliminated in his chances, and the bottom line is Magnus Carlsen shows why he is the Magnus Carlsen.
It has been Hikaru's Speed Chess Championship this 2018, and Wesley So had an amazing event this year as well, and we were tied heading into bullet before Hikaru Nakamura separated himself in the final portion.
He blunders his rook, and it's just, things are just not going well for Wesley.
They traded back and forth, landing heavy blows, but ultimately the heavyweight matchup is going to go toward Hikaru Nakamura's favor.
Hikaru will be winning his third in a row.
Extremely impressive display. Once he actually faced a deficit, he has looked like the best Hikaru we've seen.
And welcome back, everyone. The Speed Chess Championship is back. And there we see Maxime and Fabiano. They're playing today, of course, here live in Riga. But they're also playing on November the 29th. And a great matchup there. That's, as I say, in the Speed Chess Championship, there's a $100,000 prize fund. And those two great titans of chess will be playing on November the 29th on chess.com at the Speed Chess Championship. So put that in your diaries and make sure you watch that fantastic clash. But they're playing today, Anna, aren't they? And we could have a quick look at that game maybe and then pop over to the women's event. Anna?
Yeah, I was just waiting for the screen to show the game. And here we are, knight c3 has been played, and so far no move by Fabiano. Yeah, he's still thinking. Right. Yeah, he's still thinking how to develop and what to do.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting, because it looked like Fabiano surprised Maxime with the opening choice, but then after this novelty h3, rook b8 was played quickly, and then knight c3, a very logical follow-up, and somehow starting from this moment, Fabiano is still thinking.
Okay.
In deep thoughts.
Deep thoughts. Right. Well, we'll have to come back to this one, Anna. And
we have no choice. We'll definitely come back to this one.
Of course we will. We're going to keep our eyes on all the top games. But maybe now's a good time to pop over and have a look at the women's event and see, well, your sister on top board.
Let's see how she's doing. So it's the game between Late in Gia and Maria, and we have exchanged Slav variation in this game. Late in Gia didn't spend a single second of thinking. Yeah, she even gained 5 additional minutes.
Oh, she's been blitzing on her moves.
Yeah, she was blitzing. So maybe Maria was surprised by the opening choice. Though, of course, it's quite a practical decision from Late in Gia, so to go into the Slav variation, to have a safe game.
Absolutely, yes.
And, well, like every half a point.
Well, she's 2 points clear.
Yeah, makes her the winner of this tournament, I mean, and also
2 points clear with 2 to go.
She gets the spot in the women's candidate tournament.
First prize and the candidate's place, that's correct. So let's see what happened.
So, okay, this is well known. This is also, I mean, even this position is still well known after knight g4, bishop g4. So it's the line where white wins a pawn, but then the game transposes into the end game, which so black should hold.
We're really expecting a draw in this game then from this, I mean, given this position, Anna.
Well, maybe it's too early to say that we are expecting a draw, because Maria is thinking and Late in Gia playing very fast, so maybe we'll see some novelty later on.
Okay, so that's the top board game. Let's have a quick look at boards 2, 3, 4.
Board 2, Lizzie against Harika.
Now, Elizabeth, she's one of the players who can make a GM norm today. In fact, her title, Anna, but she needs to win. She lost, of course, to Maria yesterday. But if she wins with black today against Harika, then Lizzie Petz will become a grandmaster.
Yeah, though it's not an easy task, and especially if you're with black pieces, and yeah, again, there's a lap and variation. G3, a bit unusual. Not the move that is seen so often. Usually we see d4. But g3 played in this game, knight c6, bishop g2, d6. Maybe black could also think about queen c7 or something else, but d6 looks very normal. Takes, takes.
Queen takes,
this
not
I'm
bishop
not sure.
takes.
So there must be some idea to stop d4, but what's the idea? If after queen d4, queen d6, white plays d4. What did she want? Did she want to take on d4 and give a check on e5?
I don't know.
But I mean, there is definitely some idea
Bishop takes
connected
would be,
to d4. If bishop d6, d4.
Would be normal, yeah. Well, let's see what happened after queen takes d6.
Queen d6, castle first,
Sure.
bishop e7, d4,
Okay.
castle, and knight a3. Yeah, I mean, the queen on d6 is not that well placed, and after knight c4, it will have to lose one more tempo to go somewhere.
All right, so maybe black will play rook d8 and just wait for white's knight to move to b5 or c4, and then she will, of course, retreat her queen.
Yeah, but she has to be careful. After rook d8, knight b5, she has to go to d7, no? Because if she goes to b8 and c4 and bishop f4, maybe there. Lizzie has played.
Looks like she's taken on d4.
Yes, c takes d4, but then she has to consider knight b5. In this pawn structure, the bishop on g2 is quite powerful. Especially if later on white takes on d4 and then pushes c4.
So queen attacked. Where could the queen go? What about queen c5?
Takes. Then bishop d7.
Harika reaching out to play her move.
Knight b5.
She's played knight b5.
I'm a bit surprised by this queen d6
Mm.
idea. But Lisa has
she's
played
played queen c5, look.
queen c5, okay.
She's keeping her hand on the piece a long time, isn't she? You know. Queen c5.
Lisa has played many games with white pieces. This c3 variation, a lapping. So she actually kind of plays this line from both sides. Must be familiar with all the ideas.
Her performance here is just a shade under 2,600, Lizzie, even with yesterday's defeat. So she's playing really well here.
And knight b to d4.
Right. Maybe bishop d7 here, Anna, just a developing move.
Sure.
Is it so bad for black?
Why should it be bad?
Well, I mean, I know you said you didn't like the move queen d6. Well, at least black
But
has.
still.
I mean, black has her pieces developed. I mean, white has lost time with this queen's knight to come round a3, b5, and come back to d4. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what happens. Okay, this is board 2. And
board 3, which is also important,
right.
Lela Dvakhishvili against Zhuzhin are both players with 6 points.
Now, Leila, who has white, I believe that she has actually made a GM norm already in this tournament after 9 rounds. I think that's right. So many congratulations to her. And her opponent, Zhuzhina, needs to win to make a GM norm.
With black pieces.
With black, so plenty at stake for her.
So she has chosen a King's Indian. And, well, quite a usual setup.
Okay, last move was knight d7 to c5. Leila has
Maybe rook d1.
rook d1 or rook e1, yes. Rook e1 she's played.
Yeah, so this rook comes here, this rook comes to d1, then b3. And
sometimes black plays moves like a5 to a4 and queen a5, I think.
yeah, many ideas. h5, h4, knight f to d7, knight e5. White has more space, and the pieces are placed more actively, but black tries to get a counterplay usually in these lines.
But in some ways, the pressure is off Leila, having, as I say, having achieved a GM norm. And the pressure is certainly on her opponent.
I'm not sure, but I would say that Leila has already had quite many GM norms, but I don't remember her being on 2500, so maybe she just needs some rating points
To get the title.
To get the
That
title.
could be the case, Anna, yes.
Because, yeah, to get a GM norm, you need both. You need the norms and you need
The
the
title,
rating.
you need to be 2500, that's right. Okay, so this is one game that we'll be coming back to.
Let's also check Daisy Corey against Nana Zagnidze. Daisy Corey, a very interesting player. Started with 3 losses,
Yeah.
then 5
5
wins
wins.
in a row, and yesterday she had a crazy draw.
Crazy draw, that's right.
Promoting to a knight.
Yeah.
She played a game against Nina Batsiashvili, and I think she was lucky to save that game.
I think she was lucky, yeah. So here she has white, and
Nimzo India.
another Nimzo Indian defense.
E3. And A4 was the last move.
Okay.
Preparing bishop A3 or A5. Or
Right.
both.
Okay, so fairly typical sort of position for this line. And also, how is the Bibisara, the young Kazakh girl, doing? Because I think she can also achieve a GM norm today, Anna,
If she wins. So it's like a must-win situation to obtain the GM norm for Zhuzhina, Elizabeth, and Bibisara. So Bibisara here playing with white pieces, and this A6 line.
She's playing Paulina Shuvalova, so tough pairing. A6, all right, so let's see what happened.
Bibisara having a great tournament here. I think she's like on plus 20 rating points.
Right, she's gaining a lot of rating points, yeah.
Yesterday she made a draw against Nana Zagnidze. Okay, A6, C5. We saw it yesterday, or the day before yesterday. Harika played with black pieces against, I think day yesterday, Harika was black pieces against Alina Kashlinskaya. But B6 was not played in that game. B6 takes and C5. A bit unusual. But quite a logical, I think, way. If black later on wins this pawn, then black has a better control over the center. So E3, C takes D4, E takes D4, Queen B6.
Okay.
On knight went to D7. I thought knight would come to C6.
C6, right. So white does have an isolated queen's pawn, but it's sort of unusual formation.
Is it isolated?
Well,
if
I mean,
the
it's a
kind-
pawn
kind
islands, let's say. You know?
Yeah. So before preparing the square for the knight. So
Right.
it's white's plan to get the knight to C5.
Absolutely, yeah.
Queen B8.
Queen B8.
Knight A4 anyway. Knight E4, H3. knight b6 and knight c5.
I don't understand the move h3 really. I see, to free the f3 knight.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the current position. White, as we say, has this, as we said, has this nice outpost on c5 for her knight.
Do you prefer white or black here?
Well, I'm not sure which side I prefer actually. Either side, I would take that. I don't know. Not sure.
White looks more active, but black also has its ideas. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
should be an
a5 she can play, but
she could indeed play a5. Might be quite a good move. a6, a5 here.
white will just not react to a5. Maybe simply a bishop e3 or
Right, bishop b2, bishop b3.
bishop d3.
So Bibisara, the young girl from Kazakhstan, she needs to win to achieve a really fantastic result here, a Grandmaster norm.
I think it will be her first one,
Could be her first.
if she makes it.
So, well, good luck to her, but let's see what happens. Another game that we will definitely keep up to date with. So just to repeat then, so Elizabeth Petz, Zhu Jiner, and also Bibisara here, all those three have a chance to make a GM norm. If they win, they all have to win.
Yeah, and Lela Djevashvili, she has already done that. Congratulations to Lela.
Yep.
Also, it's a bit surprising that Polina, she's already over 2500, but she's still an international master, so she doesn't have enough of grandmasters norms.
Oh, that's, I didn't realize, yes. Let's see, she's not yet a Grandmaster, Paulina.
The same, for example, for Alina Kashlinskaya. I'm sure she had already quite a few GM norms, and I just don't know. She's very close to 2500 right now at 2493.
Yes. Okay, so this event, as we know, Lei Tingji is way out in front by 2 clear points and playing very solidly with white today against Maria, against your sister, and a draw would absolutely guarantee her first prize and also that candidate spot. So we'll have to see if Maria can do something about that or not, but the opening looked very calm, didn't it?
So was it played? Knight g4? I think bishop g4 has been played, and maybe queen to b4.
Okay.
Yeah, then usually rook c6, queen b7,
Black
queen
gives up the
c8 is
pawn.
played. So let's see if we will see that on the board.
Right.
Yeah, just a reminder about 2022 Women's Cadets Tournament. The winner of that tournament will face the reigning Women's World Champion Zhu Wenjun from China.
Right.
There are already players who have qualified to that event from different tournaments, like Katerina Lagno and Hampi Connor already qualified by showing the best performances in the Grand Prix series.
That's right.
There are also Alexandra Kostanyuk, Tanjun Yi, and myself who qualified from the World Cup.
World Cup, yes.
And of course, one of the players is Alexandra Goryachkina, actually the first player to get the spot there.
Right,
she lost
the losing finalist from last time.
Yeah, she lost the final, the match between her and Zhu Wenjun, the last match, a World Championship match. And one player will qualify from here. It's very likely Lei Tingji will get this spot.
Absolutely, yes.
And one more place will be given to the player who has the highest rating on January 2022.
Right.
There is also a small condition. This player had to play at least 15 games or participate at the World Cup or here at the Grand Swiss tournament.
Right, okay. So your sister Maria has a good chance, doesn't she, of she's one of the players or maybe the favorite to obtain that rating place, let's say. I know Nana is also very close, isn't she?
She's like 10 points behind, more or less, in the live ratings. But well, there are still tournaments until January. We have European Team Championship, also perhaps some tournaments in December. So it's still quite unclear.
Right. Okay.
Oh, Maria played b takes c6.
B takes c6.
And I don't like this move at all.
After queen b4.
No, but she couldn't play b takes c6 because just the knight moves somewhere and then white is a piece up. She had to take on g4 first.
White played queen b4. Just take us back, please, Anna, the last couple of moves. All right, so white took on g4.
So white took on g4, black took on g4.
Queen b4, we said, I think was played. Right, after bishop takes g4?
I don't know. Like here on the camera, I can't see.
No, but we can see the board there, the position. And white has
okay,
castled.
I will just refresh the page to understand. Okay, bishop
That's
g4, queen b4, and here she didn't take with the rook, and she played b takes c6. This is the move I don't like, to be honest. Castle, because yeah, here it's like black still has to suffer a little bit.
Some problems.
Maybe
for
not
black.
even a little bit.
Right. And Maria's used quite a lot of time as well, Anna, to get to this position.
A very good position for white, a very pleasant one, absolutely no risk.
That's right, yeah.
Just put the rooks on the c file, this bishop is controlling the b8 square, so I'm a bit surprised why Maria took with the pawn. If she wanted to keep the queens on the board and have a more, let's say, interesting position,
yeah.
But I don't think it's worth it.
All right, so it's very hard to imagine late things you're not at least drawing this game, let's say. Although, of course, things do happen and can happen, but only needing a draw. You think she might play for a win, Anna, from this position? From a position of safety?
You mean late in here?
As white, yes.
I think it will depend on how the game will develop. Because if you have a very comfortable position and it's just a one-sided game, then yeah, why not play for a win?
And a big clock lead there at the moment.
And okay, anyway, players can't offer a draw before move 30, so
that's true as well. That's also true. All right. Should we pop back to the men's, the open event? Sorry, the open event, and see.
Some updates on the top boards.
Let's just keep an eye on. First of all, this is Alireza. Well, this is not. This is Maxime against Fabiano.
So bishop e6 was played and knight d5. Oh, we have discarded. So bishop d5 and bishop d5. Not e takes d5. Okay, bishop d5, takes. Now knight b4, queen b3, and c5 on the board.
All these moves have happened.
Yeah.
So white has the option to take en passant.
I think white has to take, otherwise I don't really see any other ideas.
Yeah, this pawn on d5 will be weak for the rest of the game.
So
otherwise.
Takes. Should black take, or there is some other move? No, I think black should take.
I think black should take. Now, does white have any chance for an advantage here? Let's say queen c4.
I don't know, queen c4 or queen d5. If queen c4, queen d7, and then white has to be careful with this d5.
Yes.
If queen d5, Maybe queen b6 and queen b5.
He's about to take on passant. No.
No, he has made some other rook move.
He didn't take
Rook a4.
rook a4 by the looks
It
of
looks
it.
like a rook a4. Okay, he's attacking this knight.
We failed to think of that move.
We didn't have time.
I di-
We
Rook
have
a-
an excuse. We didn't have time.
Rook a, well, unusual move, certainly. Rook a1 to a4.
No, it's quite normal. White wants to trade on b4, then bring the knight to c4 and try to say that the knight is better than the bishop. Well, now we will go for a really short break. And then we will be back and cover all the games, all the top games.
Definitely. Starting with Alireza against England's David Howe. So we'll see you all in a couple of minutes.
Once you've played a lot with Magnus, you understand that he never coasts. So if you make a slight inaccuracy, sometimes that can snowball into turning a game that feels like it's about to be a draw into a game that you might lose. He's the player who's overall the strongest, the most accurate, and the most consistent. He also puts pressure on you in a way that some players sometimes let up on the pressure, while Magnus usually doesn't ever let up.
play chess online or learn how to improve? Join us at the #1 chess destination in the world, chess.com. With hundreds of thousands of people playing at any moment, you'll quickly find a game with someone at your level, whether you're a total beginner or a grandmaster. You can play games at any pace against friends, other members, or one of our many computer personalities. Chess.com makes improving fun and easy. Sharpen your game with tactics puzzles and enhance your strategy with our videos and lessons by top masters. Learn from your own games with Chess.com's easy-to-use analysis tool. Regardless of your skill level, Chess.com has all you need to take your game to the next level. Chess.com is your go-to source for chess news, live coverage of tournaments, events, and everything in between. Experience Chess.com anytime and anywhere, whether you're at home on your computer or on the go with our mobile apps. Signing up is free and easy, so what are you waiting for? Join Chess.com today.
Yes, welcome back everyone to Riga, Latvia here, round 10 of the FIDE Chess.com Grand Swiss and Women's Grand Swiss. I'm Stuart Conquest, here with me, Anna Muzychuk. And Anna, we're looking at the top open games. And I guess we should start with Alireza against David Howell. There we are.
This plan, which David actually played, was knight e7, but then with b5. This is new for me. Also, Alireza didn't play d4, so maybe it's quite a logical setup. a4, otherwise white would play a4. So a4, d4, knight g6, bishop e3, rook e8, bishop d3, bishop b6, and this is the current position.
All right, so black gained space on the queen side.
Yeah, black has got a lot of space on the queen side, but lost the, I don't know, central battle. I don't think it's completely lost, but right at the moment, white has two central pawns, yeah? Though white always have to be ready and know what to do if black plays d5 at any moment.
Well, I have to say, Anna, as an Englishman here, and David, of course, compatriot of mine and a good friend, I like to see that he hasn't used up so much time. Other games we've seen him fall behind on the clock.
He's ahead
on the clock. David Howell.
Breaking news. He's ahead. David Howell ahead in the clock. Breaking news.
And it is breaking news. It is, yeah.
Usually after 17 minutes, after 17 moves, he's like down to 2-3 minutes.
I know. It's there you go. And Alireza has made a move, a to a3. Pawn to a3, and but David with about 15 minutes extra on the clock at this time. Unseen, unheard of in this event and in most events. So, well, anyway.
Yeah, good point. I actually didn't pay attention to that, but well done, Stuart. That's why we have you here.
Well, so, okay, all the pawns and pieces are still on the board. We could have a poll about which move number will there be the first exchange or capture.
It can be rather soon. Well, I mean, from black side, there are two plans from what I understand. And one is to try to push c5, and the other one is to try to push d5. And in order to push d5, I think we have to protect or protect once again the e5 pawn. And we can do it by playing something like bishop c7. I actually like bishop c7.
Bishop c7, all right, to try to play d6, d5.
We will definitely be back to this game, but before that, we would like to show you one incredible game and actually one incredible move we have seen. Okay. So this game between Nikita Vitigov and Grigory Oparin, look at that.
King d7.
And it was played.
I like that move. King d7.
Just king to d7. No castle, king to d7.
Well, the king is going to be happy on c7. And the position is so blocked, Anna, that
black can allow that.
Black can allow that. Keep his king in the middle, connect his rooks. The bishop, I suppose, will come to a6.
I mean, I could imagine that black wouldn't castle short because after short castling, white has an easy plan with g4 and all this attack like h4, h5, g5. But black could just keep the king in the center or try to castle long. Though, no, just look how you should play.
King d7.
King d7.
This reminds me of games in the so-called Leningrad variation, which produces the same pawn structure where white plays bishop g5 on move 4 against the Nimzo Indian, which Boris Spassky used to play. Sometimes I tried it once or twice as well, and you'd have these kind of very, as I say, blocked pawn structures where black could keep his king in the middle like this and play moves like king d7. And what kind of plans does white have? Because in the long term, black does have the c4 target.
Yeah, I think one of the plans is still to play g4, g5, but maybe I also thought about moving this knight from e2 to d2 to have a better control over the c4 pawn. So something like knight g3, knight f1, knight d2. Maybe it's too long and too passive. Maybe knight c1, knight b3, trying to trade this knight on a5. But okay, knight on a5.
To bring the knight around to d2. Still,
it's quite questionable if you should trade it or not.
Anna, a question from the chat. If you had the option to play a tournament with music in the playing hall, would you like to try that? Would you agree to that? And if so, which kind of music would you listen to? Would you like to listen to?
I don't know if I would agree or not. I think it depends on the conditions. But I would definitely prefer to play without music because I am this kind of person who actually always, when I work on chess or when I'm watching something connected to chess, I prefer that to do it without any music. I know there are people who like to listen to music during while they are doing different things, but I am not this kind of person. I prefer that there's absolutely no music. Okay, I can't say that I am really so much distracted when there are some sudden noises, in the playing hall or whatever, but usually these noises, they are just for a few seconds, But to play under the music or under some noises for like a long period of time, I wouldn't like it.
All right.
And what about you?
Yeah.
Beatles or Rolling Stones? Or today we have some... No, today we don't have any.
No, I haven't won a music share today. The thing is that I would be... Those kind of songs, they're very distracting if one is trying to play chess and concentrate, then to hear the Beatles or the Rolling Stones or any kind of pop or rock music, for me would be a distraction to trying to concentrate. But maybe classical music, or some kind of classical music.
Yeah, but we can fall asleep during listening to some classical music.
I'd like to try it, actually. I'd certainly be happy to try it.
No, I mean...
Then I would choose some kind of classical music.
Okay, nice. I mean, I only spoke about some serious events that I would prefer without music. But if you play some games for fun, then of course something that brings more vibes, more drive will actually be maybe better, because then you're like in the mood to sacrifice and to create something on the board. But yeah, if it's a serious event, I would definitely prefer without any music.
Maybe some Bach or Beethoven or something like this.
I see.
Tchaikovsky, I don't know. Anyway.
The consort of Tchaikovsky.
Sure.
Some symphonies.
So anyway, good question. Nice question. And I wonder if such a tournament has ever been organized. Not to my knowledge, but there you go. Anyway, King d7. Oh, by the way, the German composer Richard Wagner, he was in Riga for a couple of years.
Oh, really?
I found out. Yeah, he was sort of master of music in one of the cathedrals, I think, or something like that, for a couple of years. Yeah, there was a Richard Wagner street I found walking around town. And so there you go. Right. Anna, choose a game. Let's choose another one of the top games.
Maybe let's check Shirov's game.
Yes, Alexei Shirov.
Shirov against Yueng Yi. It was a very interesting opening there. Queen d2 and e5. E5 is a new move to me. I have seen g6, I have seen e6, but not e5, I have to say.
All right, but
e5,
some
bishop
logic
b2,
to it, I think, as well, blocking this diagonal already.
bishop e7, g3.
Nice original game, isn't it?
Preparing for very original. Knight d4, bishop g2, b5.
Wow, look at that. Goodness me. b7, b5 from Yu Yangyi, and Alexei there totally absorbed in the position.
For me, it feels like these players are playing with some music.
With some music. Look at that, b5. So, there are also some tricks, and if white were to play knight g1 to e2, then maybe bishop h3 could be played. Yeah.
Good point. So this can be met by that. And not the end of the world. We can still castle, but still a nice trick. The bishop can't be captured because of knight f3. So, yeah, question if a knight g2 e2 will be played.
And is white brave enough or foolish enough to castle queenside here, Anna? What do you think? Is that a bit too risky? Castling long?
I don't know what to say. It's such an unusual position that there are so many options.
It's a bit sort of all or nothing, isn't it? But well, look, Yu Yangyi also with black here, and you know, he's obviously up for a sharp tactical fight as well, and happy to go into complications. Looks like we did that poll, the poll results, Anna, from, as I sort of said it as a little bit of a joke.
It's in Howell's game, yeah?
In David's game against Alireza, where no pawn or piece has been captured yet. At least the last time we looked, it hadn't.
So the majority voted for the capture, the first capture being on move, after move 22.
After move 22.
46% voted for that. I think they are over-optimistic.
We have to keep an eye on. Which move are they up to, Anna, in that top board?
Just a second. So, A3, move number 18.
They played 18, right, okay. So people, most people think that there won't be any captures for the next 4 or 5 moves. I would agree with that.
You would agree with that?
I think so. I would, yeah. I'll vote for that as well.
Yeah, you want to be nice with the community.
Maybe move 35 or something.
35.
I can see David just waiting here, playing moves like queen, for example, queen c7, or like you say, bishop c7, maybe. Maybe then queen b8. Maybe this Rubinstein queen b8, but just holding e5 and maybe not rushing to play d5 himself.
I thought about queen b8, but the problem with queen b8 that still we don't really want to play d5 because after d takes e5, the queen will have to protect the bishop and the knight, and it will be like the queen will be overloaded. So I suppose d5 is not an option after queen b8. But queen b8 is quite a normal move.
And then queen a7.
I don't really see a point behind queen b8, queen a7 here.
David, spending a little time. Does he try to push in the center or exchange something, or just hold this position?
Still ahead.
Yeah.
On the clock. Amazing stuff today. Okay. How about Caruana?
Yes.
Knight a6 was played.
Right, so rook a4, a little bit of a surprise. Rook a1 to a4. And Fabiano has retreated his knight, knight to a6.
Maybe he wants to bring the knight to b5, yeah? Like knight c7, then knight b5, maybe knight c7, queen d7. Or knight c7 and then try to attack the d5 pawn by queen c7, queen b7, queen c8, queen b7.
So queen, maybe queen a2 or
you
something like that?
Sorry.
Sorry, go
I have another idea about the poll.
Yeah.
For how many moves David will be still ahead on the clock?
Oh, yes.
1, 2,
1, 2, or
3.
3. Let's see.
4 is the maximum. I would suggest this.
That's a very good poll, Anna. Yeah, well done for thinking of that. As he's thinking now, I see it may be 0.
It is. 0 is also.
I mean, on this move, you know. Yeah. There we see David, of course. And Fabiano there walking up and down. So one of the 3 joint leaders after that excellent game yesterday and win for Fabiano against Alireza.
A very complicated game,
Very
I have to say.
complicated game, and
We struggled a bit in the beginning to...
well, I think they struggled a bit.
No, I mean, we struggled to guess the move which will be played. And they struggled a bit just by playing.
Maxime appears to have made a move, queen somewhere, queen a2, for example.
Maxime ahead on the clock, almost by half an hour.
Oh, that could be significant, yeah. So where's he played his queen? Where's he moved his queen? Let's see.
I think it's either c4 or a2.
At least I thought he'd moved. They seemed to be writing something down. I thought he'd made a move. But perhaps not.
No, it's his move now.
He hasn't moved yet. All right.
He hasn't moved.
Okay.
So what can we expect? I think queen c4 maybe, knight c7. And now I like some ideas connected with b4.
Is it possible to play rook a7 here,
yeah,
threatening
rook
bishop
a7, bishop
a5?
a5, another idea. After rook a7, there is knight b5.
Oh, I see knight b5, yes.
We can make,
now he's about to make a move, it looks. Yeah, maybe you're right, maybe queen c4.
A2, I think, because he moved it.
Oh, queen a2.
Like
right.
back.
Yes,
yeah,
queen a2.
Okay, knight c7.
And then what do you think, Anna? Bishop a5? Should he take
So
that knight or not?
he wanted to defend the b2 pawn. If he goes rook a7 now, knight b5, is it?
Right, knight b5, yeah.
Bishop a5.
Queen e8.
And then the rook will have to leave the 7th rank.
Okay.
If he plays bishop a5 immediately, I think that's what he wants.
And if queen d7, for example?
Queen d7, he takes there. And then bring the knight to c4.
It does. He's played bishop a5.
He's played bishop a5. Okay, today we are doing better.
And you think he wants to take on c7?
I think he has to take because otherwise the knight moves and
what's the bishop doing?
What's the bishop doing on a5?
Hmm.
So if he takes, then plays rook a7, rook b7. I don't see what it gives him. So maybe knight d2 and knight c4.
Knight c4 to defend this
knight
b-pawn.
a5, knight c6. But also a question. If black plays, is it possible? No, I think it's a blunder, yeah? We play rook a7, queen b2 takes, knight c4.
And then knight c4, yeah, you can do that, yes. Yeah, that would win a piece for white, no?
And we can somehow trap the rook on his...
But what is white trying to achieve on a long term here? Because he's got this very, well, weak, let's say, pawn structure, pawn on d5, d3, b2. So, right, he can bring his knight to c4, but, I mean, why should black have any difficulties here?
But if he brings the knight to c6, then it's unpleasant.
Okay.
But the knight is like 4 moves away from there.
All right, so that could be a plan. Bring the knight to c6
C6.
via a5.
Yeah, and then maybe to push b4, maybe to try to play over the a file.
Okay. Could be. Well, I think you're right. The knight. I see that the knight will come to c4. Very likely. So we think perhaps queen d7 here.
What other moves? Rook b7.
Rook b7 maybe, but still
Rook
knight d2.
b5.
Yeah.
Seems like we can't win the tempo because before the queen moves, white will not take on c7. And after the queen moves, then yeah, we will do that.
Maybe, yeah, maybe rook b5, but still knight d2. All right, should we leave this game, Anna, and have a look at another one? And come back, of course, to this.
So David Howell? He's already
David
he's
hasn't
already
moved.
behind.
He's now
So I don't
behind
know
on
if
the
we had
clock.
the
So that poll didn't.
if we had the poll or not, but
He's now behind on the clock. Well, long way to go in this game, of course. Long way to go. Board 3, 4, 5, Anna, should we see any developments there?
so after a fantastic move king to d7, castle, king c7 and f4.
Right. From Nikita. Well, White needs to do something. White needs to open some lines. So.
But he could try to do it like in a slow manner with, I don't know, with some preparations. Perhaps like g3, f4. Okay, he decided to play f4. Now if black takes, we take with the bishop. Or
with the bishop, or maybe even with the rook. I don't know.
preparing e5.
Preparing e5. So
Also
maybe
bishop g5.
Yes, bishop g5 is also.
So taking, I didn't like taking from the very beginning. Maybe knight d7 or knight g4.
If knight g4, the bishop will have to retreat. And then white threatens h3.
f6.
f6 and go back to h6 with the knight. Should we see that? h3, knight h6. Should be okay for black.
It will be too blocked.
Well, black can more or less force this, can't he, if he plays knight g4.
Anything else?
Well, knight d7, as you said,
Yeah, knight
could also
d7.
be tried.
Knight d7 is a bit passive.
What about bishop a6, Anna? If black were to play bishop a6, white would just give that c4 pawn up? Do you think?
Yeah, I think white will be happy to sacrifice that one. Maybe takes, bishop g5.
Bishop g5. He's played knight g4, it looks like. Solid.
So white will definitely keep that bishop. It's just the question. The retreat will be to d2 or c1.
And then maybe f6 will come next. Maybe f6 next. All right. So we'll come back, of course, to all of these games.
So next one, Alexei Shirov. Knight e2 was played. And
Oh,
bishop
he played
h3
knight
was
e2.
not
He
played.
didn't play bishop h3 here.
Yeah, maybe white is okay after castle.
Right.
Takes,
There's
takes.
Alexei on the screen. Look.
Takes. A6.
Right.
Looks like a bit more pleasant for white.
Alexei, wouldn't it be amazing if he were to go into the last round with a chance of a candidate spot? Let's say if he wins today, and then in the last round he's one of the people with a chance to get one of those two places.
It seems like both players want to win this game.
I think so.
Because Yu Yangyi went for a sharp Sicilian. Alexei also chose one of the sharp lines. And they have a really very creative game. So knight e2, queen e2. The pawn is attacked. If before we have
Queen b5 check.
Queen b5. I don't know. Sometimes it's good to sacrifice it, like bishop d7, queen b4, d5, followed by
right. Yes.
d4.
Possibly,
so I wouldn't say that black can't
In fact,
play
where does the
b4.
queen go there? Queen is almost lost.
Okay, there is still a place.
Queen b7 is the only move.
But yeah. After b4, white has other options, maybe.
Interesting, the possibility to play b4 there and sacrifice. Maybe he's calculating that line now. Should we just check again, Anna, quickly? Queen b5 check. Bishop d7. Queen takes b4. d5. Queen b7 only move. And what do we think? Rook b8 maybe, give up a second pawn, and then d4.
Maybe d4 now, and then some ideas with queen a5.
There could be a check. White's king still uncastled. Yeah, this could be a nice shot there. Looking down on the board. So maybe we'll have a little break, Anna, and leave Yu Yangyi there considering whether to play b5, b4, or to play
a6.
a6, just keeping the pawn on b5. Quite a nice moment there to think about. And
but we want to see b4 on the board.
b4 looks very interesting, yeah. So as you can see, lots of exciting games, lots of action, and tense moments already in many of those positions. So we'll be back, Anna and I, in a couple of minutes.
The new Chess.com events page has arrived. Find all the games from top tournaments around the world, as well as championships played right here on Chess.com. Explore each game and even vote on who you think will win their matchups. Review standings, schedules, key information, and find links to all the top news surrounding each event. Head to chess.com/events today and experience your favorite tournaments like never before.
Welcome back, everyone. It's live coverage from Riga, the capital of Latvia, and today we have the round 10 of FIDE Chess.com Grand Swiss and Women's Grand Swiss. Yes, maybe I want to commentate longer, you know. I don't want all of it to be this round 10, and tomorrow we have the last round. Here we see David Howell on our screen, and let's see if he has played anything. He actually played.
Queen c7.
Yeah, after a3 he played queen c7, rook c1, and now he's thinking. So what is he thinking about?
Still no pawn or piece has been captured in this game.
It is already move number 19. So those of you who voted that we will see no capture before move 22, you're actually getting closer and closer to the correct answer.
Is White planning to play c3, c4, Anna, do you think?
It can be logically, especially after queen c7 was played. And moreover, if something like rook d8, I think c4 is an interesting move to consider. But there are maybe many trades. Also, a big question if black will be able to capture on e4 and then play d5. I mean, in this line,
at the end of this,
takes, and then takes, and d5.
Right. It looks like that's okay, isn't it? Seems to be right. Or good for black even.
Yeah, maybe it actually favors black.
Maybe knight f6 check, g takes f6 and rook takes a4.
e4 I wanted to play, and then something like that.
Yes. Well,
I don't know.
how to say.
Also c5 after rook a4, c5.
Wow, really? c5?
I don't know, I am ready to sacrifice on h6. Maybe I shouldn't be ready, maybe I should just protect the pawn if I see that it's hanging.
But e4 also looks fine here for black. Okay, so we're looking at c4. If black were to play rook a d8, this is the current position.
I really want to make this d5 work.
By the way,
so
Anna, what about
like
queen a7? What about
then
this move queen a7 instead of rook a d8? The Rubinstein move.
after rook c1 or after?
Yeah, to prevent c4.
Queen a7.
Or kind of prevent it. And get off this c line.
And let's say I wanted to play queen d2.
Are you going to take on h6?
Possibly.
Maybe. Well, we'll see what David does, but he is burning a little bit of time, let's say.
No surprise.
So he's about 15 minutes behind on the clock at the moment. He was up on time, wasn't he, for a while? But
like during the first 17 moves. Huge success. For David, it's good that he is not listening to us. I'm making some fun of his time management. But again, he's on 6.5 out of 9.
He's won 4
plus
games
4.
in a row.
And being one of the leaders of this tournament.
4 wins in a row and first equal with Fabiano and Alireza. So huge game for him. He's just made a move.
He played a move. I don't know which one. But he has played a move.
Let's see what he did. Bishop a5. Well, that also prevents c4, doesn't it? Bishop b6 to a5. Okay. What do you think about that move, Anna?
I don't know what to think right at the moment, because the bishop on a5, it's kind of not that well placed, though of course it's preventing c4. Also sometimes he may have the idea to take on d4 and white wouldn't be able to recapture with the pawn, but
Right. I think it's a nice
though
move. Bishop a5, I quite like it. So Alireza could, for example, play rook e2. Just to unpin the c3 pawn.
maybe rook b8 with the idea of c5.
Yes, okay. Sure, rook b8.
Also sometimes we can think about knight f4 after rook e2,
Right.
bishop b3.
Yeah.
In general, I like David's position. I think that what he got from the opening was quite okay.
I like his last move, actually. It did cross my mind, bishop a5. And is a move like d5 possible for white here, Anna? d4, d5. What do you think?
A risky one.
Well, sure, it's risky, yeah. I mean, should you have a quick look? If d5? Might not be good. C takes, I guess.
Even if bishop d7.
Just go back. Right.
Yeah, white takes, black takes with the bishop. And looks okay for black, but maybe taking is even better. So you wanted to take there.
Yeah.
Rook b8.
Okay.
No, it doesn't seem like
it doesn't look good for white, does it? No, I agree. Doesn't look good. All right, white could also take on e5, but doesn't seem to achieve anything.
I think it's concession, yeah. If white takes, black takes, and black has more space on the queen side, so nothing to worry about. No, I don't think white will take on d5, on e5.
All right, okay, well, of course, we'll come back to this game. We'll leave Alireza there thinking on his next move. Now, this is board 2. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, who is a half a point behind the 3 leaders.
So actually, queen d7 was played, takes,
He took.
knight d2, and queen b7. The move we started talking about, but what about rook a7?
Yes, what happens now? We're missing something here. Because after queen takes b2...
Yeah, if queen takes, we take and we play knight c4.
Knight c4 seems to win.
And it doesn't look good for black. Queen b4?
It must be that move, queen b4. Has to be that, yeah. Queen b4 must be the move. Attacking the knight.
Still, let's say rook.
Rook e2 or rook d1?
Rook a1.
Really, just leaving the knight there?
Okay. I'm just like rook a1 after the bishop moves, and knight c4. I already had that position in my mind.
And black could play rook b7, perhaps.
So knight c4.
Oh, looks like Alireza has made a move there, doesn't it, as well, on board 1.
Oh, let's check. Alireza
He
played
played
rook
rook
e2.
e2. What were you saying here, Anna? Did you thought just rook a b8, maybe?
Rook b8, yeah.
With the idea of maybe playing c5.
So maybe let's quickly check the other games.
Yes, by all
because
means.
It has been a while. This one. After bishop d2, black took on f4. Bishop f4. This is the game between Nikita Vidigova and Grigory Oparin.
Okay.
And f6 now.
Right.
Knight d4.
Knight to d4, look at that.
Yeah,
From
I think
Nikita.
that
Knight to d4.
one of the first
I
ones
love that move.
who had a similar idea was Botvinnik, yeah, playing knight d4 and this positional sacrifice. I think it works because if black takes, white takes, and
c5 and suddenly black's
c5.
king is not safe at all. Huge threat there, c5.
Yeah, spectacular move.
Yeah, knight d4, brilliant move. I love it. Yeah.
So knight e5, knight b5, and king
Check.
to b7.
Hey, this is a great game. King b7, white to play.
The funny thing is that after a6, it's not like the knight is trapped, but because the knight can go
Knight
back
can
to
go back.
and just like an idea.
So white could maybe play moves like rook b1 here. You think knight takes c4 is a threat? One of the knights takes c4?
I doubt it's a threat. It's possible, but it's also opening some other diagonals. And the king becomes weaker after white takes on c4.
So white could maybe play bishop e2, for example. Maybe a4 is not a bad move. a3, a4.
And what is threatening after?
Well, no, just keeping the position and...
Maybe rook b1. Actually.
I do like this knight d4 move. Just show us again, Anna, when white played that. Just the moves that led up to that. So
This moment was knight d4.
knight d4.
It's always pleasant to make the most of this kind. Even if the game goes wrong after that, you are still kind of satisfied as you play the move.
Knight d4, giving a whole piece, but black sensibly, we think, didn't take it.
No, knight e5. I don't think any player would take
No.
this knight. It's just too dangerous. Knight b5 can be.
But strategically, black has a very good game. Now, what can Nikita do here? How to open lines.
So, yeah, we spoke about rook b1. If he takes on e5, I think d takes e5 will be played and black is okay. Nikita.
Looks
Nikita
like
took
has
on
he
e5.
taken e5?
It looked like he took on e5.
Right, so if f6 takes and rook f7 check,
So I'm
is
expecting
awkward to say the least.
d takes e5.
So changing the pawn structure again.
Yeah, d takes
Is he going to
e5.
play d6? Because now presumably black threatens a6 and the knight is trapped. Or do you think a4 here and just a4 just to give the knight an escape? And then just play that position. Yeah, maybe he'll do that.
I actually
a4.
don't know. I like black's position. If there is nothing concrete, and I think there is nothing concrete.
He's played
d6.
d6.
Okay.
Well, he's
this
really
is-
going for it, Nikita, here. Really going for d6. Full of confidence.
Sacrificing the exchange with bishop e6, knight c7, queen d6 is a bit too much, or is it okay?
We can have a look. Bishop e6.
There's also prophylactical move rook b8.
Yeah, rook b8. Before the knight
But
comes to c7.
yeah, if we do it like that, queen d6, knight takes, rook takes, then bring the rook to d8. So what is this position? Which rook? Black may be okay here. Just
Well, white may try to put a rook on d5 later. Don't they?
yeah, but how to move the bishop?
Yeah. No, you're right. Black could do this. And white remains with this very weak pawn on c4.
Yeah, and also there is no need to sacrifice. Maybe black can just simply play rook b8.
Yeah, let's look at this rook b8. Anticipating knight c7.
This bishop e5 and d6 is kind of playing with fire. Because,
Absolutely.
If this doesn't
Very
work,
committal.
then black may just, win this d6 pawn and it's game over.
Right. I honestly thought he was going to play a4 their last move instead of d6 and just have a knight, bring his knight back round to e3 if needed and just play that position.
But then there is no advantage.
Well, no, I accept that, yeah. But d6. Very risky from white. If it goes wrong, as Anna says, if it goes wrong, it's sort of more or less game over.
Let's go back to Alexei's game. And let's see if before was played. First I have to find that game. Okay, here we are.
Alexei Shirov.
And before was played, queen b5,
He
Alexei
didn't play
decided...
queen b5 check, Anna. Look, he just put his knight back.
Alexei decided it's too risky to take this pawn, and well, we also thought it was quite risky. Knight d1, a5, preparing bishop a6.
Yes.
Here we see Alina Kashlinskaya. Castle. I like black's position.
Yes.
I think black is doing okay.
Is
Well,
this the current position?
Yeah, I think we don't expect long castle from white anymore.
I don't think we'll have a poll on that one.
No, I don't have a poll on that one.
There's Ali Reza, look. Walking.
Yeah, we will check. We will definitely check his
past.
game.
So, yep, clearly castle's long is walking into a big attack. At the same time, castling short.
Castling short and bishop
a6 is quite annoying.
Well, yeah, rook c8 or queen c7. Some problems with this knight. So maybe some c4. It's also a bit risky.
Yeah, black does seem to be doing quite well, doesn't it, at the moment? Bishop a6 anyway is his next move.
Maybe it's time to play g4.
g4, wow. Well, maybe. Maybe you're right. There's Sam Sevian there as well, who also has 6 points. Shall we quickly look at his game, Sam's game?
Sam's game, here we have it. So we saw it on like when white played bishop d3, castle, knight e2, knight d7.
Sam is playing Gabriel Sargsyan from Armenia.
b5, castle, bishop a6. Yeah, both sides trying to go for a typical plan. White is trying to push e4, black is trying to meet it with b4 or c5.
Right.
So e4 on the board, queen b6, and e takes d5, c takes d5.
And this is where they are. Right.
I think black is doing fine. Yeah, very symmetrical position, but
Right.
all the pieces are well developed.
Yes. Yeah, and black can play moves like rook ac8 as well, threatening b4. It does
So
look,
roughly equal, maybe.
yeah, it looks like black has nothing to fear at the moment. But Sam has just played a move. Did he take on f6?
Yeah, he did. I thought about the idea bishop f2 and then knight g3, knight f5. But okay, after knight g3, let's say bishop f8. If when we come to f5, then g6.
Doesn't really achieve anything too much. And I think Alexei may have made a move. I'm not sure.
Alexei made a move, so
he played g4.
no, I don't.
No.
No, it was our analysis.
I thought he'd played a move. Maybe he didn't. Okay.
Okay, let's take maybe a couple of seconds to see which move was played.
And there,
Maybe f4.
Sargisian has also played his reply, and Sam making another quick move. So we'll have a.
Okay, back to Savian's game. Bishop f6, knight f6,
queen
and
b3.
queen b2.
Sam played.
Giving a bishop pair in such position, is it good?
Well, I guess he wasn't too satisfied with the with his position. Queen b3.
What if we play b4? Knight to a4, yeah.
Must be knight a4, I think. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yep, looks okay. Knight a4. Trying to get towards c5 later after putting rook on the c file. But
if not b4, what else do we have? Rook b8. Given the d5 pawn.
okay.
So if white takes, black takes.
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 Bishop f6 maybe.
Maybe this is a bit better for white. That's why I actually prefer to keep the pawn on the board with b4, knight e4, and then moving the queen
somewhere. All right. I think in Alexei's game he played the move a4. Did you see that, Anna? When we had a quick look at the game.
Maybe a3.
Can we switch to that game or not? I think he played a4.
I switched. I even reloaded.
All right, nothing.
Okay, a4. Now I got.
He played a4, right?
Yeah, he played a4. So if black takes, then we will have the idea with c4. If black doesn't take, then maybe he wants to go for long castle, actually.
Well, I think so now because he's prevented black from playing a4.
Yeah, I think it was a very good move, this a4.
And yeah, that's exactly right. I think Alexei now has ideas to castle queenside.
So maybe black should take.
Take on a3.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, if white castles alone and then all this attack, it's quite clear what white is going to do, g4 or f4.
Right.
But it's quite unclear what black is going to do. So maybe to take on a3.
And then bishop takes, I suppose. If rook takes, then maybe d5 is very strong. Bishop takes a3. No, now you're saying that white has c4. The move c2, c4, yeah? If
After bishop a6, we have c4.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So there we see a nice shot of the game. After you see white's pawn there on a4. Black hasn't yet replied.
Yeah, a4, very good move. by Alexei. Really. I underestimated it.
Anna, I think we're going to come to our next break in a minute or so. And then we'll be back, of course. We have to keep an eye on the top ladies' games as well and see what's happening there. And the top game, of course, today is Alireza White against David Hull.
And Maxime against Caruana.
And board 2, Maxime against Fabiano. So those are the big clashes at the top of the pairings. And then the big chasing pack on 6 points just behind them. So we'll be back, Anna.
Okay, yeah. Just a short break, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Want to hold a massive chess tournament with dozens of clubs or hundreds of players? Or maybe a small chess tournament with local but competitive clubs? With Club Arenas, you can. Club arenas allow for tournaments of any size with any number of clubs and players. Customize the arena with any time control, with standard chess or mini chess variants, and with any starting position you want. Club arenas are the most flexible tournament format on chess.com. Try one out today.
Yes, and welcome back, everyone. And here we have a quick recap on the standings here at the FIDE Chess.com Grand Swiss. The open section here, and 3 tied for first: Alireza Firouzja, Fabiano Caruana, and David Howell. And then a big chasing pack on 6 points. This is day 10, round 10 of 11. And the women's standings there, Anna, we have Lei Tingji 2 points clear.
Yeah, Lei Tingji 8 out of 9, and then 5 players with 6 out of 9, and 7 players 5.5 out of 9.
So the top board game in the open section is here David Howell, who has black against Alireza Firouzja, and this is the current position. And white has indeed played c4, Anna.
We have some updates in this game. Rook e2. After rook e2, David played queen to b7. Bit mysterious move. And c4 on the board.
c4, right.
Maybe he wanted to... Like when c4 is played, to be already prepared for that, because now the pawn on b5 is not hanging and the queen is not under the rook, staying on the rook. But can he do it now, like taking on c4, knight e4? No, it doesn't work anymore, because in the end, after d5, there is knight d6. I mean, the same idea we discussed some time ago.
Just have a look at that. Take everything.
Yeah, takes. So
I
if
see, yes.
knight takes, then it's not longer possible.
Doesn't work because of knight d6 or knight c5, right.
So he's not going to take.
Is David just going to wait here? Is he going to play a waiting move like rook a c8? Something like that.
Or rook b8. Maybe another idea.
And really, we see him there hard at work. And plenty for him to analyze, but he doesn't want to use up too much time.
He played very quickly until, I think, this moment, yeah? Like first 17 moves, but then for the last 4 moves, he spent an hour or so.
Okay, yeah. And, what should David do if he takes on... Well, taking on d4 doesn't make any sense at all, I don't think.
Taking d4 just brings another piece forward.
Exactly.
Yeah, just knight d4 and putting pressure on c6 and b5, so I don't think he will take.
Knight f4, Anna, is there any sense in that? Playing knight f4? Attacking the white rook?
Maybe also not that great, yeah, if we take, then knight f1, preparing e5. But no, now we can take on c4.
Right.
And take on e4.
And take on e4 at the end.
So maybe knight f5 actually.
Okay. No.
This looks better for white. I feel like the f4 pawn may become weak.
Well, knight takes d6 is a threat. So either black trades on f5 or he plays a move like rook a d8, let's say.
Still knight d6 is possible after rook a d8.
Right, with e5 at the end, yeah. And if trade on f5 here, Anna, bishop f5, he takes. Strange pawn formations.
I prefer white here. Yeah, like these pawns, this is the weakness also on b5, it's potentially also weak.
Could be, yes. He doesn't look so comfortable now, does he, David? And he's about 20 minutes down on the clock as well.
Yeah, maybe the last moves he made were not optimal decision.
Right.
Maybe he should have tried to prepare better against c4.
So that's the current position. White has just played c3 to c4. David played bishop a5 when White's rook was on e1 to prevent this move. Alireza played his rook to e2. And now he has achieved the c4 advance.
Maybe just rook b8.
Rook b8. Okay. Well, it gives White a big choice of moves.
I don't know, yeah, there are quite many moves which I believe with more or less the same ovulation, yeah.
Okay, a little slightly concerning maybe for black here, the position. We'll come back to the game, Anna, of course. Do you want to skip quickly over to the women's section and see, or maybe should we quickly look at Maxime first? This is Maxime against Fabiano, the other absolutely critical top game today.
So rook a7 has been played, queen to b4,
Queen before
rook
only
d1,
move. Rook d1.
rook b7 and knight c4.
Yeah, we more or less had this position, didn't we? More or less.
We had exactly the same position.
Right.
And maybe White's position is a bit more pleasant because I see some plans for White, but it's difficult to find a plan for Black.
You mentioned earlier, Anne, about the possibility of trying to bring this knight to c6.
Ah, that would be wonderful if we get knight to c6.
And White can consider moves like queen a6, maybe.
Maybe, yeah, rook a1, also trying to penetrate somewhere on the a file, like with the queen to a7 or a6 later on.
So a little bit of pressure there for White. And Fabiano also about 10 or 12 minutes down on the clock.
We have one draw. This is the game between Daniel Dubov and Yuri Krivoruchko. It's board number 9.
Okay.
So yeah, quite an equal end game. And this was the final position. Or rook b2, yeah, a7 will be met by rook a2, so
sure.
Very logical that this game ended in a draw.
We saw earlier, Anna, just before the break as well, Alexei Shirov, he played this move a4. We left Yu Yangyi thinking about his reply. Did he make a move, yes or not? That's Alexei.
He didn't take on a4. He played bishop to a6, queen d2, bishop b7, f3. Yeah, White had to protect the e4 pawn.
Right.
Queen to c7.
Okay, so we could expect White to castle, well, suppose castle queenside, didn't you? And this is where they are, is it, at the moment?
Yeah, what about bishop f1?
Wow, bishop f1.
Just bring the bishop to c4. I mean, Black's idea is quite clear, rook d8 and d5.
Yes.
That's why I thought about bringing the bishop to c4 to stop d5. Maybe it's too crazy to play bishop f1 with the king on e1. Maybe d5 will come anyway.
And some sort of, even here maybe d5.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean.
And get the bishop to c5 for black.
So if I take, I think black takes, or...
Yeah, I'll take one way or the other. And then, I don't know, maybe e4 even would be a move. Quite sharp. No, e4, perhaps?
e4, yes. I don't believe in e4.
What do you believe in?
I'll just maybe just castle on bishop c4 and then take this pawn on f3. So let's...
I mean, bishop f1. I
You
understand.
don't believe
I
in
mean, I
bishop
understand if you
f1.
could get the bishop to c4 safely. Maybe he's going through his mind. Bishop f1 here. Otherwise, black will put a rook on d8 and play d5. Let's see what Alexei does. He's also down to about half an hour, it seems, and Yu Yangyi with 48 minutes or so left. So a bit of a time disadvantage for Alexei. But a very original opening, wasn't it? The Sicilian with 3d4, queen takes d4, and then double fianchetto from white. But he does need to take a decision here.
So what are the other ideas?
Let's see
like
what he's done.
g4 maybe?
He's made a move, Anna. Has he castled queenside?
He just castled.
Looks
Okay.
like it. Well.
Yeah, let's say rook d8. Maybe he simply plays. I thought about knight c4, but after knight c4 there is bishop a6.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, knight c4, bishop a6. Maybe he just has to allow d5, play rook he1 or something like that.
And then bishop f1.
Yeah. If black puts a rook on c8, white has bishop h3. That's quite nice.
Oh, yeah, good idea. The knight is very well placed on e3.
On e3, I agree. Yeah. So he's castle queenside. Yeah, Alexei really having a good tournament so far.
Let's check Muzychukov's game.
Right,
What
this was
happened
the king d7 Nimzo Indian, wasn't it, where white played knight d4.
And the rook b8 was played.
Right, which we half expected, didn't we? Rook b8.
Bishop e2 and bishop e6. Black is doing well. Yeah. Then queen d7, rook d8.
This could easily go very wrong, couldn't it, for white? If knight c7, Anna, what would happen?
Queen d7.
Queen d7.
Maybe some sacrifice with this and bishop to g4.
A big yawn there from Nikita. Did you see that?
Sorry,
I
no.
saw him yawning.
I looked at
I just looked up and he was yawning.
But I don't think he's bored with
He's
his
certainly not bored. No, maybe a little bit
not bored.
tired. Maybe. Well, it's a long tournament. Everyone probably needs a bit more energy, or has less energy than they started with. Certainly.
Yeah, just 2 rounds to go.
Just today and tomorrow, yeah. So maximum effort still required. Bishop e6.
Okay, this is more or less.
I mean, he needs to play sharply, doesn't he, here, Nikita? He can't start. He has nothing else he can do, really.
Yeah, he should try to keep this construction, but. Maybe this game. Let's check it.
Okay.
So we saw it after
An
knight
unusual
f3,
sort of
knight d7.
Queen's Gambit, which we think was hardly been played before at all.
D takes e6, queen e6, queen a4, rook b8, bishop c4 and queen f6.
White gets his pawn back.
A very unusual opening. b5 is the threat.
Right. What did White play here?
Maybe queen to c2 or preparing some sacrifice. Does it work? Like, let's say if we castle.
Is this what he played?
No.
I mean, they played lots of moves, I can see.
Oh, 1 second. No. I don't have.
I mean, on the
moves.
camera we can see black
Yeah.
rook on b2, for example. Looks like.
And
or
also
queen on
castle.
b2. They played lots of moves. We don't have the moves.
No.
Rook on B2.
Okay, how to get this position from this one? Yeah, many things.
You don't have the moves, no? You can't see.
Okay,
Tell
let's
us what's
do it.
happened.
Let's do it another one. I still don't have the moves.
Somehow they've got to that position.
Okay, the position on this, on this screen, I think Black is doing fine. So let's go to the next game, maybe.
Okay, we'll try to come back to this and catch up on the moves because it'd be nice to see
how all that happened.
how they got to that position with the Rook on B2. This is Sam Sevian. He's got white against Gabriel Sargsyan.
A4 was played. Bishop A6. We spoke about knight A4, but Sam decided to take on A6 first. Queen A6, now taking on B4, Bishop B4, knight F4. And the players reached this endgame.
Okay.
Yeah, more or less equal, I would say.
Yeah, I think Black will be quite happy with this.
Yeah, for Black.
I think so too, yeah. And also Sam with he's used about twice as much time. Well, he has 25 minutes left or thereabouts against around about 52 for Black. So that also suggests that Sam wasn't too comfortable with the way things were going. Anyway, it's kind of level.
Yeah, but now he has quite an easy position. Yeah, he doesn't need to think much in this endgame. Just bring the king to f2, put this rook on d1 or c1.
Anna, is it maybe a good time just to pop over to the women's event and just catch up on the top 2, 3, 4 boards over there to see how things are going? First of all, board 1, Lei Tingji against your sister Maria. Tell us what you think is happening here.
Yeah, white is still comfortably better. But maybe it's maybe earlier it was even worse I mean a bit worse than it's now.
Right.
So rook e3 played, rook e3, rook e7 is coming.
Right.
This rook is definitely much better than this one. Also the weakness on c6.
Right. So white is
bishop f5, preparing bishop c2.
Well. Yes.
Okay, maybe Maria will hold this.
Okay.
She can't hope for more here.
No, that's right. Yeah. So Lei really, she has Lei Tingji. She has the tournament really well within her grasp here. Already 8 points out of 9, and would be incredible if she were somehow to lose this from this position.
No, she can't lose.
So I
mean, she can only, I don't know, fall asleep or something happens to her. This is the only way to lose it. But well, we don't wish to see that.
No.
So yeah, very likely after this game she becomes the winner of the tournament. A well-deserved winner.
Well-deserved, absolutely. Goodness me. And with the performance of over 2,800 so far. So what about board 2?
Board 2. Harika Dronovale against Lizzie Pats.
We said before that Lizzie needs to win today with Black to achieve the GM norm and, we think, title.
But also it's very unlikely she will win this.
Right.
In the best scenario, she will hold it.
White seems to be doing quite well here. King f8, the last move.
Though, how to play for a win with white?
And maybe if Lizzie can hold this position, then tomorrow with white she can try to win and still get that GM norm.
Yeah, but it it depends whom she will play against.